All right. Hello, everybody. For those of you logged on, this is Tom Randall again from GoldenCare. I want to welcome you today as we take a quick look at the StrateCIsion comparison tool. And this is kind of a unique part that some of you will want to do and some of you won't. And again, I just want to make sure you know it's out there, because if you really want to roll up the sleeves and get involved in the short-term care, extended care market, StrateCIsion is a great tool. And usually I'd be joined in my partner in crime. I don't think he's on because I knew he had another call today. Dennis Reiner would usually be on here with me. And Dennis and I have had the pleasure of working together for a lot of years. So I won't spend too much time on that part of it today. This is Tom Randall, National Marketing Director for GoldenCare. And I want to welcome you again to this Integrity Short-Term Care Initiative webinar, because this is something that's really important. And if you've been on any of my other webinars, we talk a little bit at the beginning, but we're trying to keep these webinars a little bit shorter time-wise because we go through so much, hopefully valuable material as we go through each one. So I'm not going to spend time today, but I do want you to know, go on our website. I'll show you where that is if you're new at the end of this, and make sure you see where all these recorded webinars are. And make sure you check out a couple of those and see the introduction, because it's so necessary right now. We're hitting a perfect storm for these next 7 years, and there's a big shifting market out there. And we know that, long-term care, where we buttered our bread, we were the company that GoldenCare helped design that Mutual of Omaha long-term care plan that went from number 10 to number 1 in the industry, because it had a lot of great features. But unfortunately, the way long-term care works, with a lot of people who are writing 65 plus, there's a lot of declines. And there's a lot of people who just aren't healthy enough to be able to get a true traditional long-term care plan. So we've written tons of business over the years in long-term care, and short-term care is now really taking a shift in this market. And you'll see, for a lot of reasons, we call it the extended care market. And, I'm going to really quick, a lot of Americans have that chronic condition, so it's necessary. And I'm not even going to go to this one because I don't need to spend time on this. I apologize. I wanted to show there we go. Just wanted to show the product availability. Again, we spend some more time on this, so you've been here. This is a repeat, but I do want you to know, in this short-term care initiative, Integrity's got a lot of great proprietary type products that are available for you, and we centralize on 3 full short-term care products, and that's going to be the GTL Recover Cash, which has been around the longest, and it's just a standard bearer in the industry. It's very strong. It's in a lot of states, a few more states than Omniflex. Omniflex came out this last year. We've been setting sales records with that. We did help design that one here at GoldenCare, and it's been a really strong, made a strong showing in its first few months, several months of production. So we're proud of that. There's a couple other states coming on. This slide does show Indiana. That was the last one that was approved officially. And we got a couple more coming mid-December. So we're kind of happy about that as well. Then we move over to the GTL short-term care. And we have GTL short-term care, which is a big standard. I skipped right over Wellaby because I was deterred by something else. I was looking at a different screen. Wellaby is the newest comer, and I do want to make sure you get to show there's a lot of niches in Wellaby that makes it super strong in the short-term care comprehensive market. And there's some great things. We have good training on Wellaby as well. So check that out if you'd like. The Wellaby show out there is in 10 states right now, and it's going to be in more states coming down the line. So we'll keep you posted on that. So the home care market, again, GTL, short-term home care, is been around the longest, very strong. We've got Manhattan Home Care Select that's been around a long time too. And this is the home health care previous version that they have. So they're moving over to the Select version state by state as soon as they get approved. So that's a strong thing there too. So we have to go through that. I got to check something, excuse me. Okay, no problem. Sorry, I had to check something else. You can edit that out if we're doing editing. Sorry about that, Katie, whoever's editing this. But you can see here we have the GTL short-term home health care in a lot of states. We've got Manhattan Life in a lot of states. And then the nice thing about this, some of the states won't play with short-term or home health care only plans. So we do have the True Freedom plan available in all 50 states. So that's a really nice, it's not an insurance product. Make sure you check out the training on that. And it's a very strong opportunity for you. Okay, so I'm not going to get into the product training today as much as I want to go out and show you how to use StrateCIsion. And basically, one of the biggest abilities of all these plans across the board are the availability. And let's see here. Is the availability. Sorry, people are typing in questions, so I just get sidetracked because I want to make sure I cover those. So anyway, the biggest thing about these plans, their availability. So if you've been on our other training, you'll see InstaPivot is available. This is, again, you don't have to do this. We want to keep this super simple for you. But if your marketer got you on this call or GoldenCare course, our team here, we have this InstaPivot tool, and it's really strong. It's basically every question you'd ever be asked about any one of these products to see if you can get it is on here. And then you can click down and choose a state. And like if I choose Alabama, it'll turn green in all the ones where this product's available right now today. This is a living, breathing site, so we always change it to keep it up to date. Okay. A couple other products are in here. I just hid some of them. But again, the biggest availability is underwriting. That's why I'm showing you this. StrateCIsion is not going to go into underwriting. So you're going to first either look at the applications and see if they approve or are available. But StrateCIsion is a tool that we use for people who want to compare side by side some of these different short-term care plans. Okay, and that's why it's there. So again, some of you will use this, some won't, but I do want to show you that it's available for you. Okay, so I'm going to go to the agent corner here. And StrateCIsion right now, we don't even have it on our Integrity short-term care site because it's a step up. We have InstaPivot on there, the one I just showed you, but right now we don't have it available. And what we decided to do is to ask agents, if it's something you want to take a look at, or ask our marketing partners, we can get you access to this StrateCIsion. It's about $500 a year. We give it to you free as part of our Integrity short-term care initiative. So it is something we may decide eventually to put it up there just in case agents need it. But for now, we didn't want agents to get overwhelmed and think it was going to be too confusing. So I'm going to go ahead and click in Access. And I've already signed in. It would ask you to sign in quick if you didn't. And this top bar, don't worry about that. That's because I'm an administrator, so it shows a couple extra things. You wouldn't see the black bar. You just see the blue bar without some of these interruptions. Okay. So once you get to it, it would say, what do you want to do in StrateCIsion? LTC short-term care comparisons or hybrid comparisons? Remember, hybrid plans are those life with long-term care, etc. So we're going to go and click the LTC short-term care comparisons. And again, it'll show you right on this site here. And right now we have it set up on our GoldenCare site. And that's another reason I know some agents in our Integrity partners don't want to have it right on our GoldenCare site. We're the one who pays the licensing for it. So right now that's where this landed, unlike our InstaPivot that is just standalone on its own without having GoldenCare there. So anyway, it is on the GoldenCare site now. We may change that if we see enough interest on it for our partners. All right. So right now it says LTC short-term care comparisons, and it's pretty intuitive. It's going to show you first what's your agent name. So I'm just going to type in my name. It's not first and last. I could type in all of my different information so that if I printed out an actual comparison for a client, it would show all my information, etc. But for now, all I have to do that it won't call me out on is put in my name. If I don't put in a name, it'll say something's wrong. Okay. Next thing I do is go down here, and this is one of the areas agents miss first time here. If you're in long-term care, that's great, but it defaults to long-term care, and you got to go down here and click short-term care from the policy types menu. Is that a deal? So now once I've done that, all I do is click next. And it's going to say, how about my client? What's going on there? I can use an actual client's name if I want to show this and say, I'm going to use this as Joe Fakey. And it'll ask for a date of birth and an age. You can do either one. I can type in the age and say, let's do a 61-year-old. Or I can type in the date of birth and it automatically calculated, obviously. So no problems either way. Date of birth, it might be safer if you're going to come back to this and make sure you get the age right. So I'm going to go down here and type in just 61 to be lazy today. And I'm going to go in and I'll put Alabama in there. So click the state that you want. And then it'll say joint insured, yes or no. So I'm going to click yes. That just means it's going to be a mom and a dad. Some policies do joint things for other lines. They call it joint insured here. Again, these are individual policies with discounts. So here I'm going to put Betty, Fakey, and date of birth. I could use the date of birth, or I can just put an age. I'll have Betty be 65, a little bit is senior. And then I click next. And this will catch you. If you make a mistake, it'll go back and say, please do this, and a pop-up box will come. So first thing I'm going to do is go down here, and you can go down here and like, here's our Manhattan, and here's GTL's recovery cash. They also have GTL's home healthcare standalone on here. Manhattan Life standalone is not on here yet. It will be soon. And then they have the GLI, which is Colonial Life. That's Aetna. And that's their full short-term care plan. But for now, I'm just going to do Omniflex to show you how to do one quote. Again, will you come to StrateCIsion to do one quote? Probably not. You're going to want to do comparisons. But I'm going to go ahead and just do the Omniflex first, so you don't have to feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose. Here it shows Joe Fakey, which shows date of birth if I put it in, but it just shows the ages. And then it asks, makes no assumptions here, right? Joe's a male, we'll put her as a female. And then I go down here and it'll say standard rates or that. Again, most of it's really intuitive once you click it, right? So standard or tobacco use. If I do tobacco use, that's fine. It just adds a little bit of a premium load. For Manhattan Life, it's a 10% load. For some of the companies, as high as 25%. Okay, so if they use tobacco, put it in there as tobacco because it'll remember it for next time. So facility care benefit, that's the base policy. Again, everything's pretty much, you want to do product training so you know what these plans do, but everything's drop-down menus. So you can see here with a full-blown plan, we don't do underwriting here, right? Full-blown plan for Omniflex, I could do $400 per day, or if it was a limited plan, it would be limited to $100 per day. So I would have to know that ahead of time if I was worried about underwriting issues. So for this one, I'm going to put it down as, I'll put it as a strong $300 per day just to see where we're at. Okay. Now it says facility benefit period. Remember, I can do 90, 180, 270. We usually sell 360s. Math is done for me automatically. 300 times 360 is 108 grand. Okay. So now I go down to the facility cash benefit. What is that? Remember, we have a Fast 50 benefit with Omniflex, so you could have 1/2 of what your daily benefit is. So it's saying once this policy matures, it'd be 150 for the facility cash benefit. Most of the time, you wouldn't use the facility cash benefit; you'd use the home health care, and that's the same deal. So we go down to the home health care rider, and I say yes, and it says $300 per day. It defaults to, or it defaults to something else. All I have to do is remember, I want to do 300 for this case. So again, 300 per day across the board, 360 days I'll use here. And again, I could change that, but this is real easy stuff. If you're just doing one quote for Omniflex, you'd probably go right to the Manhattan Life site, right? But here you can do it on StrateCIsion as well. Okay, so the home healthcare cash benefit, what's that? The Fast 50 cash benefit. Whatever your daily benefit is at the time of claim, it would give you half that amount. So if we're doing 300 per day, it's using that as your base, 150 per day. Again, remember this policy ramps up. So you have to look at the product training if you don't understand that. The home healthcare elimination period, in this case, I'm just going to use 0 days. And the home health, facility elimination period, sorry about that, 0 days. And then the home health care elimination period, I'll put 0 days. I could put 20 days over here if I wanted to. Some people are selling 20-day on the facility, but you can do 0 or 20. And the inflation protection, remember, if I get beyond the limited plan, I could have inflation of 5%, 2 times max on there. Okay. So prescription drug benefit, remember what that is. That's a reimbursement benefit right out of the gates. The average 65-year-old, for example, uses about 27 refills a day, or a year, refills or prescriptions, 27 a year. So the 300 prescription drug benefit's huge. That's going to be basically $200 or $300 off your calculated premium right out of the gates, because most people you sell Omniflex to are going to have some meds. Okay, so that is up to $300. And when you go in the product training, you'll see it's $10 per base for generic or 25 for brand name. Okay. Restoration of benefits is a huge deal with short-term care. It's built in. Notice these are not options I can change. They're built in. And then we go to the hospital daily benefit. What's that? Hospital indemnity. That's available with this plan. I'm going to keep it simple and do none today, but I could have a plan with up to $300 per day if I get the full plan, or $100 if not. So I'm going to keep it simple, just put none. Okay. Spousal discount, yes, because we're having our other spouse here, and if both of them get the policy, they'll get a spousal discount. I could change it to no and say I'm not sure one of them will get it. That's a 10% discount with this carrier. Okay. So again, I'm going to put on here, I'll do monthly premiums just to keep it simple. And then I could go out and fill out for mom. Mom's a 65-year-old. Remember, we have her name up here. And I could fill in a different plan and put in a whole bunch of different benefits for her if I wanted to. Today, I'm going to keep it simple. I could change it, but I'm going to keep it simple. And if I push copy, the arrow's pointing this way. That means it copies over on this side exactly what we had on this side for benefits. Make sense? So it's going to duplicate Dad's plan we put in. So now at this point, you can see the premiums are blank because unlike our actual software that automatically calculates it, StrateCIsion always says calculate premium. If I click on the calculate premium, you can see $105. That's a very robust plan for $105, and $148 for mom because she's older. And you can see here, it's $254 for the combined total. Makes sense? Combined total $254. It does round there. Now I could stop there and I could do an illustration and I could show you that, but I'm going to do a compare. Okay. So I'm going to do a compare first, and I'm going to click compare. And now this is what you'd use StrateCIsion for most of the time. This is just a summary of benefits for Manhattan Life's Omniflex. You can see there, it shows us everything we did, and it shows us everything that we had on this plan. Okay. Then I'm going to show you that once we do that, and I'm going to point this out, they're going to be mad at me for pointing it out. Everybody said to skip it, but I'm a little bit analytical. The maximum home care benefit says $5 here. That's an error on the programming of StrateCIsion. We pointed this out thanks to an agent of ours who noticed it. Notice on the other screen before, it showed $108,000. It showed the exact benefit, just like we have for facility, 300 times 360. But here it does have an error. So you want to make sure you know that. Don't panic. It's being fixed. And right now it is wrong. So I brought it up just because I didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to pull something by them. So premiums, everything else is correct. Okay. Now what I do is I go down here, and you have to pay attention to both scroll bars, because if I page down and I didn't have this scroll bar down, I would think, okay, what does it show me? But I have to page down on this scroll bar to see. I can modify this. I can delete my Manhattan, or I can add a quote. And that's what I want to show you today. If you decide to go into this where you're really going to be comparing policies, most of the time you don't have to do this. Most of the time you're going to have an existing client where you're going to go in and you're going to tell them, for your situation, I recommend Omniflex, or I recommend GTL, or I recommend Wellaby. Okay. We have training on that when we talk about designing a plan, etc. But if you get in a situation where you want to do research ahead of time, or you're looking at it and they're saying, I have an Aetna quote from somebody else or from you, and I want to know what the difference is, I could go in and click on any of these policies. So I'm going to click Aetna for this because we have GTL, and you could go in there and do GTL Recover Cash, and you could see that as well. But I'm just going to do Aetna and say, I want to see how it looks next to Aetna. So I click on Aetna, I click next, and then it's going to say, okay, for Aetna, here it is, CLI, which is Aetna, 61 and 65-year-old. It remembered my clients, of course. But the rest of it, it needs me to make sure I want to see what I want to compare. Why does it do this? It doesn't make assumptions because it wants to be sure you're trying to compare either different plan amounts or you're doing apples to apples. So in this case, I'm going to try to keep it close to apples. So $300 per day. Remember, I don't have to do mom because I'm going to copy it down here. $300. I'm going to go and I'm going to do a 360-day plan. There's my 108 grand. Facility elimination period, I'll keep that at 20 days. Then my hospital daily benefit. This is a hospital indemnity that it's built on. So remember, don't get carried away. This is not what we're doing here with our Omniflex plan. This has a built-in where you have to do $10 for a hospital indemnity. Okay. So the hospital indemnity is $10. It's automatically for 20 days. Okay. So that's part of our product training. You don't need to know about that, but that's why it's 10 and you can't go to 0. If you do 0, it'll default back. Okay. So the home care benefit now, I go in here and I'm just going to forget about the little $10 deal. That's not that big a deal. It's not going to make or break a sale. Now with home care, the way they do theirs is they do a per week. They say if you get care 3 days in any given week, it's going to be a weekly benefit paid, indemnity benefit. So it's still strong. I'm going to put it at their very max, $1,200 per week. If you do the math on that, 1,200 divided by 7, if they had care every day, it would be $171 a day. Remember, we did $300 per day on Omniflex. But the nice part with this plan, if you had care for 4 days a week, what does that average out to? That would be the divided by 4 is 300, right? So if you're checking my math just to make sure I don't misspeak. So you have $300 per day. How scary is that? 52 weeks. So that's a full year at $1,200 per week. So that's, again, $171 per day average. Could be a little bit more or less than that, depending on how you work it out. Okay. But if you do, it can never be more than 1,200 per week, of course, but the 171 part I was talking about. Okay. And that the big part about this is how much is the overall benefit you're going to get. Remember, in this case, 52 times 12 is $62,000. Remember, with our Omniflex, it was 108. So a little bit better here, but this is a weekly benefit. Okay. Home care elimination period 0. I think we did monthly. So I'll do monthly. And now I'm going to copy it over because I could design a separate plan for mom and keep it different, but I'm going to keep it the same. So this is about as close to apples as you can get. A little less here. We got $10, $200 worth of hospital indemnity benefit over here, but that's no big deal comparably. So now I go copy, calculate benefits, and I see it's $146 and $204 per month for the 61 and 65. Now I'm going to look back and say, I don't remember what the other one was. So what do? I click compare. It's thinking it through. And now on the left-hand side, I see my Manhattan Life Omniflex, 61 and 65-year-old. And it shows the benefits. Again, don't worry about my maximum here. It looks like they have that mistake same way across the board. So we got to work on that with our friends at StrateCIsion. This is an outside company, obviously. And then we have the recovery care over on the right-hand side. And again, it'll show the benefits. So you're going to want to check this to make sure you didn't make any mistakes. You know what I mean? And when you typed it in, make sure they look about the same. And you can see here, in this case, there's no marital discount. We didn't make a mistake there. They just don't offer one for Aetna. Okay, so that's why this is 10% less, one of the reasons. Okay, and they don't have a cash benefit, obviously. That's why it says NA, right? So now I can look down here and say, well, where am I sitting? You know what? In this case, pretty good. $254.20 with a combined premium over here, a $351. And remember, this doesn't even include the $300 prescription drug discount that we could have. So you could lower that by $25 a month on the combined $50 a month, actually, because 2 of them could potentially get 25 off each. So you'd be at $204 after the prescription drugs. So you can see there, Omniflex looks good. It's one of our primary products that we sell over at the Integrity Short-Term Care. Boy, that was easy for me to say. Sorry. Now, remember, I can print PDF or I can add a quote. I'm going to try to add a quote really quickly. And again, I'm going to do this one faster. I'm going to add recovery cash in there. And this way it'll be on the recording and it'll be there if we need it. And I can go next. This is the GTL short-term care full recovery. So we're again comparing that. And you're going to see it'll add in the same thing here. I could go back here and I could show all the different things. I could change male, female, standard. Again, they have a tobacco user or not. Same concept that I did before. So I probably don't need to do this. $300 per day. We're going to do a facility benefit period of 300 days, 360 days, excuse me, 108,000 there. The home care rider, I'm going to say yes. I'm adding that on. Same concept here, but they go a little bit stronger than Aetna, right? $1,400 per week. So very strong there, 26 weeks. Elimination period on that one. The home care elimination period is 0 days. Okay. And then I can go down here and the maximum home care benefit. I'm going to go to 52 weeks. You can see there that one that did the math correctly, 72.8. And facility elimination period, I'm going to put that one at 20 days to stay as accurate as we can. And then inflation protection, nice thing here is you can have different inflation with this plan, so very strong. But I'm going to keep it apples for apples. Again, nice restoration with this plan. And the spousal discount is available as well. So this one does have a 5% spousal discount. And it does have a $25 annual policy fee. Omniflex does have in the notes, you'll see a one-time $25 policy fee is just one time. This one is annual. Okay, I'm going to change this to monthly. I'm going to copy it over so I'm identical over here. So I'm looking to make sure everything looks the same. And I'm going to calculate premium. And you're going to see there that they're looking at $294. So if I click compare, I think StrateCIsion will allow me to go over with 3 of them. And why can't I see it? Because I have to look at both 3 sliding bars now. Okay, because this screen is only so big on our site. So here's GTL, and you can see guaranteed trust. Everything's looking the same $5 mistake down here. Then they go down to 20 days, 0, lifetime, monthly, male, female, everything's looking the same. And you can see there they perform very well. 294, a little bit higher than Omniflex, but very close, and the 351 there. So you can see that they look good. And again, if I wanted to do all of this as one, it's not going to let me add more than 3 carriers. And if I go to this and I push print, it's going to allow me to go out and it's going to show me a print preview. Okay, so this print preview shows here is my short-term care with Joe and Betty Fakey. It would have my other information if I put it in there. Then it shows side by side, standard all the way down. And then this needs another page. That's all this is, a page break. And then it has some additional information about the plan. Remember, it'll say prescription drug benefit, $300 per year. So you could have this lowered by $25 per month for each of them if you do the math on that. So it could be $200 and $204. And then it shows the premiums, and then it does show a little bit extra about each one. So you can see there, policy fees mentioned, everything's pretty cool. And it's a nice little comparison that if I wanted to print that, it would come out in a print on my computer that I have hooked up. For the rest of you, if I click X, I can go down here and print as a PDF. And then you're going to see it's going to format it as a PDF. And it's going to show me what it's going to look like on a PDF view. This might be small for your screen, but the same information. And I can go in there and I can say, download this. And it's going to come up and it's going to allow me to download it. And it's going to put it into my system. I can save it as whatever I want. Now I'm going to put it right here. Sorry, this is just me putting it somewhere I can find it quick. So I'm going to go to miscellaneous, and I'm going to put this somewhere. You wouldn't have to do this much stuff. I'm just doing it so I can quickly find it later. If I thought I could quickly find it. Okay, there we go. New short-term care. I'll do Manhattan Life because that's where I have our training stuff. Manhattan Life, marketing, again, apologize about this. You guys wouldn't have to do all this stuff, but I'm just going to do compare rates. And then I'm going to put in here Strat 2023 11-17. Now, you can name it whatever you wanted to. I just wanted to save it so I could find it later if I needed to. Otherwise, I could print it out and it would go to a printer as well via this. So in this case, I said I wanted to download it so it's coming up on my screen. And again, I don't think I have to show you this bigger, but this shows you the entire comparison and it shows you the rates again. So in a nutshell, you guys, this wasn't a pitch for either product. It wasn't. I was just trying to show you it's available. A lot of you, again, won't need to do that. You won't need to use our InstaPivot tool necessarily, because you can go right to the app and see what the health conditions are, whether this happens to be Omniflex, but you can use Wellaby or your GTL. And, we can go in and see the difference in the products as well on this type of thing, the short-term care that we talked about. So we have all that available here as part of this, but I just wanted to show you today how easy it was to go in and use StrateCIsion. And I hope that helps a little bit. The key that I want you to remember is you don't have to use any of these tools that we have. We just try to give you some extra tools to help you out. So if you go to our site, Integrity Short-Term Care, you're going to see here that we have Start the Conversation. We have our sales and marketing materials. All the product information you'd ever need is right down here. And each one of these clicks has more assets to it. And then there's our InstaPivot tool that you do log in one time, register and log in. And then you can use that InstaPivot tool. And we may have this StrateCIsion tool if we get enough people who say, hey, I might want to use that. So if you want to use the StrateCIsion tool, all you have to do is contact us here at GoldenCare, Tom R. at goldencareusa.com or Dennis, or you can push contact us on the site here, or contact your network. Your marketer is probably the safest way to do that. Contact your marketer who got you on this call, and they can get a hold of us and say, we had a couple agents who really would like to use StrateCIsion. Again, that tool with the short-term care and the long-term care in it is about $500 per year. And we allow you to use that free because of the fact that we want to help you as much as we can. So you probably will see that in the future on here somewhere. But for now, we have limited license on it, and it's got to be on the GoldenCare site. So we don't have it on here quite yet. Okay. So if you need it, we'll have it. Contact your marketer. Anything else you might need, right in here is the key. All of our webinars that we do on here, all the different topics are on the site all the time. So we have Start the Conversation, Medicaid, takes a little bit to load because I'm on a webinar. All the different things you could ever want are on here for you to view later. And we have several pages of them, 4 different pages of different videos. So everything you need to be successful is going to be on that site, on our site for the short-term care initiative. Okay, go further down. Dennis Reiner has some great materials as well. So that's all we need today. I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to go to the wrong one. I'm going to go to here, StrateCIsion, and I'll go down here. I've got this all, don't worry. There we go. Don't think we even have to edit that. You guys are pros. Tell you what, again, I jumped around today and I wanted to show you the StrateCIsion tool. This is Tom Randall again from GoldenCare. And on behalf of Dennis, who couldn't be here today, Dennis Reiner, I want to tell you, thank you very much for listening to this. And again, this will be recorded and on the site. So hopefully you guys can see that the tool is out there. And right on that recording, I'll remind people to contact their marketer if they'd like to use it. And more importantly for you, if you're listening to this, contact your marketer, take the next step, get appointed with all those carriers. And again, I want to thank you very much. Hope you have a great weekend. And this is Tom Randall signing off. And until next time, hope to see you in another webinar. Thanks, everybody.
The next step is yours. Contact your marketer for more information and to start offering short-term care solutions to your clients. And be sure to sign up for our other short-term care hot topic webinars.